Your brain is brilliant, curious, fast, endlessly creative. But sometimes it feels like it's running a marathon with no finish line. You want to focus, but your thoughts sprint ahead, collide, and scatter in a dozen directions. Sound familiar? For many in Gen Z, this isn't just a busy mind. It's a sign of living with ADHD in an age of constant stimulation. Today, we'll explore what that really means and how to turn that restless energy into something powerful. What is ADHD in Gen Z? ADHD is not just about being distracted or lazy. It's about consistently struggling to sustain focus, organize tasks, or control impulses in ways that genuinely impact daily life. For Gen Z, this might look like sitting down to study and suddenly realizing an hour has disappeared to scrolling, or blurting out thoughts before meaning to. It's not about effort or character. It's how the brain is wired. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, around 8 to 9% of adolescents experience ADHD symptoms that can continue into adulthood. Common myths say ADHD is only for kids, that people can grow out of it, or that it always means hyperactivity, but many experience it internally through mental restlessness and constant thought switching. Think of the ADHD mind like a busy intersection where the traffic lights don't always sync. The cars still move, but it takes extra navigation, patience, and creativity to get where you're going. Understanding that pattern is the first step toward working with your brain, not against it. So when we talk about ADHD and Gen Z, we're talking about understanding how that traffic intersection works differently, how to navigate it rather than judge it. Symptoms and early warning signs. Let's look at the signs. These don't amount to a diagnosis on their own, but they may help you recognize patterns in yourself or others. We'll cover cognitive, emotional, behavioral, and physical examples, and you may recognize some but not all. Cognitive/attention-based signs. You often start tasks, studying, writing an email, preparing a project, but lose track of what you were doing or mentally switch away without meaning to. You find yourself reading or rereading the same paragraph because your mind floated elsewhere, or you realize you haven't absorbed what you read. You have trouble organizing your thoughts, keeping meeting notes, or planning time realistically. When something is interesting or urgent, you hyper-focus, you lose track of everything else. But when something is mundane or long-term, you drift away. You misplace items frequently, phone, keys, charger, not just once in a while, but habitually. Behavioral/impulsivity-based signs. You interrupt conversations, jump in before someone finishes, or find it hard to wait your turn. You feel restless internally, even if physically you might be still, your fingers tapping, your mind racing, you might stand up, sit down, move chairs. You make quick decisions without full thought. I'll do it now, and later regret or revise them. You tend to change focus mid-task, start a new hobby or project, and then abandon it halfway, then feel remorse. Emotional/self-image signs. You feel frustrated with yourself because you should be more organized or disciplined, but the usual methods seem to fail you. You may feel guilty or ashamed when you forget again, or when you catch yourself impulsively acting and then saying, "Why did I do that?" You might experience mood swings of irritation/annoyance because things take longer or you feel behind, or anxiety because you anticipate you'll slip up. You compare yourself to peers. They seem to manage so well. Why am I struggling with basics? Physical/sensory signs. You may struggle to sit still in class, in meetings, or socially. Even when you do sit, your mind might feel unsettled. You might be very aware of external distractions, background noise, notifications, colleagues chatting, and find it hard to tune them out. Your sleep might feel irregular, falling asleep late, waking and struggling to re-enter sleep, or waking feeling like your mind raced all night. Here are two everyday examples. A Gen Z university student signs up for morning lectures because they want to stay ahead. They arrive, take notes for 15 minutes, then become aware that their mind is replaying a TikTok video. Then they open Instagram just to check. Then the lecture progresses 2 slides and they realize they missed the core idea. They leave feeling guilty they didn't keep up. A young professional in a startup job can brainstorm brilliant ideas at 2 a.m. But during a structured meeting, they struggle to sit through the agenda. They zone out. They blush because they interrupted to ask a question that had just been answered. They then avoid front-facing roles or meetings because they feel embarrassed. These signs can show up in different ways, and they vary in frequency and intensity. They may overlap with other issues, for example, anxiety or sleep problems. The key is noticing patterns, recurring experiences of challenge rather than isolated incidents. Risk factors. When it comes to ADHD, risk factors don't define destiny. They simply offer context, not blame. Genetics play a major role. ADHD often runs in families, linked to differences in brain wiring and neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine, which affect focus and impulse control. Early experiences also matter. Prenatal exposure to substances, childhood stress, or variations in brain development, especially in the prefrontal cortex, can increase vulnerability. For Gen Z, environmental factors add a unique layer. Growing up in a world of constant notifications, social media, and digital multitasking creates a high-stimulation environment that can intensify attention challenges. While this doesn't cause ADHD, it can make symptoms more visible and harder to manage. The key takeaway? ADHD reflects a mix of biology, environment, and experience, not weakness or failure. Understanding those influences help build compassion, not criticism. The root causes. 1. Brain networks and executive function. In ADHD, the brain's manager, the prefrontal cortex, has less efficient control over planning, organization, and impulse regulation. This makes it harder to stay focused, switch tasks smoothly, or resist distractions. 2. Neurotransmitters and motivation. Dopamine and norepinephrine, which regulate motivation and reward, play a central role. When everyday tasks don't trigger enough reward signals, the brain naturally seeks stimulation elsewhere, like social media or new ideas. 3. Development and brain plasticity. ADHD symptoms often appear early but can shift with age as the brain develops. Research shows ADHD affects about 5 to 7% of youth and around 3 to 6% of adults worldwide, reflecting how brain wiring evolves over time. 4. Environmental feedback loops. Modern environments that demand long, focused attention, like academic or digital spaces, can amplify symptoms. This mismatch between brain wiring and external demands can lead to frustration, anxiety, or burnout. Metaphor. Think of the ADHD brain like a railway network with a few misaligned switches. The train still runs, but sometimes skips stops or takes detours. Understanding that system isn't about blame, it's about learning how to lay the tracks that help you reach your destination more smoothly. The connection to other mental health aspects. When we talk about ADHD and Gen Z, we must highlight that it often doesn't exist in isolation. The brain, life demands, environment, and self-image all intersect. Understanding how ADHD links with other mental health areas helps us adopt a holistic, compassionate view. 1. Anxiety and ADHD. Anxiety and ADHD often feed into each other. Worrying about forgetting things or falling behind can heighten distractibility, while constant distraction fuels more anxiety, creating a loop of stress and self-doubt. 2. Depression and self-esteem. Struggling in areas others manage easily can lead to shame, frustration, and low confidence. Over time, this emotional exhaustion may contribute to depressive feelings or withdrawal. Studies from the CDC note that ADHD commonly co-occurs with anxiety and depression. 3. Sleep and stimulation. ADHD can make it harder to fall or stay asleep, while poor sleep worsens focus and mood. For Gen Z, late-night screen use, irregular routines, and constant alerts intensify this cycle, with research linking high screen time to increased ADHD-like symptoms. 4. Identity and self-image. In a generation shaped by comparison and online visibility, ADHD can make someone feel different or not enough. Many mask their struggles, which can lead to burnout or emotional fatigue. 5. Executive functioning and daily stress. Tasks that seem simple, organizing, switching focus, getting started, can demand immense effort, leaving you drained. This invisible labor often fuels overwhelm and self-blame. Core insight: ADHD rarely exists alone. It weaves through anxiety, mood, sleep, and identity, reminding us that mental health must be seen as a connected system, not separate parts. How it affects daily life. Let's ground that in daily life, because this isn't about pathology, it's about lived experience. For a Gen Z individual, ADHD-type wiring can impact many areas: relationships, work/study, self-image, even energy levels. Work/study, you may find deadlines sneak up on you. You start a paper, you're motivated, then you drift into social media or a new thought, and you end up pulling a late-night crash session. Or in a job meeting, you've prepared well, but when there's an unexpected change in agenda, or you're asked to talk spontaneously, your mind blanks, you feel embarrassed, you revert to silence. Productivity may not reflect your capacity. You might generate creative ideas but struggle with follow-through. And you may feel you're not performing to potential, which is frustrating. Relationships. You may overcommit. Yes, yes, I'll do that. Then forget or delay. You may interrupt when you're excited. You may feel restless or mentally elsewhere in conversations. That may confuse friends or partners. Are you listening? Meanwhile, you may feel guilty that your internal distraction doesn't reflect how much you care. Social media and digital distractions may add extra layers. You might physically be present, but mentally you're already scrolling. Self-image and identity. You might hear from others, "Why can't you focus like this or that person?" Or, "Stop being so impulsive." Over time, you internalize, "I'm lazy, I'm not disciplined enough, I'm broken." That undermines your self-worth. You may compare yourself to peers who seem more organized or calmer. You may hide your struggles, not ask for help, or avoid roles where you think you'll fail. This avoidance further limits your growth and increases isolation. Energy and mood. Because your brain is working harder to maintain focus, switch tasks, inhibit distractions, you may feel mentally exhausted even if you look calm outwardly. That energy drain may show as irritability, frustration, procrastination, or avoidance. Sleep challenges add to the fatigue. You might assume you're just slacking off when really your brain is taxed. Again, this is not about blame. It's about acknowledging how harder the route may feel when your wiring differs from the norm, and recognizing that you're navigating with tools that weren't built for you, so you create your own tools. Lifestyle changes that can help. Now we shift toward what you can do, not to fix yourself, but to support yourself, to be kind to your brain, and create an environment that allows you to thrive. These are lifestyle habits grounded in evidence, and they're especially relevant for Gen Z wanting practical support. Sleep. Keep a consistent sleep schedule and limit screens before bed. Good sleep stabilizes focus and mood. Movement. Daily physical activity boosts dopamine and resets attention. Even short walks or dancing count. Nutrition. Eat regular, balanced meals with protein and hydration to sustain focus and energy. Digital balance. Limit multitasking, silence notifications, and use focus windows for deep work. Social and rest time. Stay connected, laugh, and schedule true downtime. Your brain needs recovery too. Mindfulness. Short breathing or awareness check-ins, just 5 minutes, strengthen attention control and calm. Start small, stay consistent. Each habit builds a more ADHD-friendly, less draining daily rhythm. Actionable strategies and techniques. Let's go deeper now into specific, practical, evidence-based tools you can apply, like an instruction manual for your brain rather than a one-size-fits-all fix. Each technique includes what it is, why it works, how you apply it. Feel free to adapt to your life. 1. Task chunking plus 2-minute rule. What it is: break tasks into small chunks and commit to just the first 2 minutes. Why it works: someone with ADHD wiring may experience initiation inertia. Starting a large task feels overwhelming, so the brain drifts elsewhere. The 2-minute rule reduces the barrier to entry. The chunking means you're not trying to do a semester's worth of work in one go, but open notes, write 50 words, or organized study space for 10 minutes. How to apply. You have a big assignment due next week. Step 1. Open document and write heading, 2 minutes. Then 2. List 3 key points, 10 minutes. Then 3. Write first paragraph, 20 minutes. Use a timer. When you finish a chunk, check off and take a short break. Repeat. 2. Visual task board or Kanban style. What it is, use a whiteboard, sticky notes, or digital board to do arrow, doing arrow done, to visually track tasks. Why it works. ADHD brains often function better with visual cues and movement of tasks. Moving something to done provides visible reward and closure. How to apply. At the start of the week, list your tasks on the to-do column. As you begin one, move it to doing. When you finish it, move to done. Celebrate small wins. Tick, sticker, emoji. Keep the doing column to max 2 items to avoid multitasking overload. 3. Scheduled focus/destructure blocks. What it is, alternate periods of focused work with purposeful destructuring periods when you allow your brain to wander lightly or reset. Why it works. Someone with ADHD wiring may get hyper-focused, locking onto a task, or dissociate altogether. Both extremes are draining. Balanced cycles help regulate. How to apply. Use the Pomodoro technique, 25-minute focus, 5-minute break. Or adapt, 40-minute focus, 10-minute break. During the break, do something physical. Stand up, walk, stretch, check a message, but set a timer to come back. After 3 cycles, take a longer 20-minute break. This rhythm helps your brain stay engaged and resets impulses. 4. Cognitive reframing with self-compassion. What it is, notice the negative self-talk. I'm lazy. I always mess up. Then reframe with compassionate accuracy. I have a brain that works differently and I'm learning tools to work with it. Why it works. ADHD often comes with chronic self-criticism that signals stress and self-regulation drain. Self-compassion reduces that load and allows you to engage from a place of helping myself rather than fixing myself. How to apply. When you catch yourself saying, I'm so undisciplined, pause, write it down. Then ask, if a friend told me the same thing about themselves, what would I say? Often, you are doing your best, you just need support. Then internalize, my brain has challenges. That doesn't mean I'm deficient. Use a sticky note or reminder phrase you review weekly. 5. Mindful check-in and interrupts. What it is. Mid-task, stop for 30 seconds to check in. What am I doing? Is this what I intend? Is my body calm? Are my thoughts shifting? Do I need to take a break or adjust? Why it works. Without this interrupt, the ADHD brain might drift unconsciously. This check-in helps you catch the shift early and redirect. How to apply. Set a timer every 45 minutes during study, work. When it rings, ask those 3 questions. If you're okay, reset the timer. If you're off track, take a 2-minute movement break. Get water, ventilation, then return. Over time, you build awareness of when your brain goes off rail. 6. Environmental nudge supports. What it is, change your environment to reduce distractions and align with your attention patterns. Why it works. The brain is influenced heavily by external cues. For someone with ADHD wiring, the fewer competing stimuli, the clearer the attention ride. How to apply. Use noise-canceling headphones or ambient sound if you get distracted by sound. Use website blockers during focus blocks, e.g., no social media. Keep your workspace decluttered, just essentials. Use one screen at a time rule, close extra tabs. Use a visible timer or clock so you feel the passing time, since internal time sense may be skewed. If you get easily restless, have a fidget object, stress ball, putty, to channel physical energy. 7. Pre-planning transition rituals. What it is. Create a ritual when moving from one context to the next, e.g. from leisure to study, or from workday to evening free time. Why it works. The ADHD brain may struggle with transitions. I just finished one thing, now go to the next, feels abrupt. A ritual signals your brain we are shifting mode. How to apply. For example, when you decide to study, first stand up, stretch, take 3 deep breaths, switch on your study playlist, open your notes. When work ends, close your laptop, write 1 sentence. Session done, put away notes, step outside for 5 minutes. These rituals provide structure and help reduce friction. 8. Review plus reflection weekly. What it is. At the end of the week, spend 10 minutes reviewing what worked, what didn't, and plan for the next week. Why it works. The ADHD wiring may mean you're always in do mode and never pause to assess. Without review, you repeat the same friction. How to apply. On Sunday evening, or whatever day suits you, pull out your task board, look at your done column, and acknowledge progress. Identify 1 to 2 tasks you didn't get to. Why? What blocked you? Then move them to next week with a smaller chunk and adjust your environment or time slots accordingly. This builds momentum and helps you feel in control. By combining these techniques, you build a toolkit. Your brain may navigate differently, but now you have ways of guiding it. Do's and don'ts. Let's summarize in a friendly way what tends to help and what tends to hinder when you're living with ADHD-type challenges. Think of this as your yes list and maybe avoid list. Do's. Do set up routines and structures that support your attention patterns. Do allow yourself small wins. Check off tasks, celebrate progress, not just completion of big things. Do build environmental supports, reduce distractions, plan transitions. Do practice self-compassion. Recognize your brain works differently, not worse. Do use breaks and movement to refresh your attention. Do reflect and adapt. If a strategy doesn't work, tweak it instead of giving up. Don'ts. Don't beat yourself up for struggling with focus or organization. That only adds stress and drains your brain's resources. Don't assume you must follow exactly the same ideal routine as someone else. Your brain may need tweaks. Don't rely solely on willpower alone as your only strategy. ADHD wiring often requires external supports and planning. Don't multitask thinking you'll be more productive. Often, the brain with ADHD wiring loses time switching tasks and reorienting. Don't isolate yourself or hide the struggle. While you don't need to overshare, avoiding connection can make things harder. The goal, build a partnership with your brain, not stand in opposition to it. You're not fighting yourself. You're guiding yourself. When and how to seek professional help. Even with strong self-support, professional guidance can be essential. Reaching out shows strength, not failure. When to seek help, ongoing struggles in multiple areas, work, school, relationships, self-care. Feeling stuck despite effort with low mood or self-esteem. Co-occurring issues like anxiety, depression, or substance use. Questions about or concerns regarding medication. Desire for clarity, diagnosis, and personalized support. Who can help? Psychologists/psychiatrists. Assessment, therapy, and treatment planning. ADHD-focused therapy, e.g. CBT, builds organization, impulse control, and emotional regulation. ADHD coaches, practical tools for planning, accountability, and execution. Integrated support, address related concerns like anxiety, sleep, or mood alongside ADHD. Seeking help is like seeing a specialist for a recurring physical issue. It's a proactive step toward better functioning and freedom. Understanding medication. Now let's talk factually about medication in the context of ADHD. We are not prescribing, but we are providing an overview so you understand what the role of medication can be, how it works, and what to expect. Always conducted under professional supervision. What it does: improves dopamine and norepinephrine signaling, helping the brain sustain focus and manage impulses more effectively. Types of medications: stimulants, e.g. methylphenidate, amphetamines, fast-acting and commonly prescribed. Non-stimulants, e.g. norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, used when stimulants aren't suitable or in cases of coexisting conditions. What to expect: gradual adjustment period, weeks for dosage and monitoring. Works with behavioral tools and structure, not as a standalone fix. Regular check-ins to assess sleep, appetite, focus, and side effects. Helps unlock potential. It doesn't change who you are. Why supervision matters. Only professionals can confirm ADHD and rule out other conditions. Side effects require monitoring and adjustments. Best outcomes come from combining medication with therapy and lifestyle support. In short, medication is not about fixing you, it's about equipping your brain with tools to function at its best. Empowering message. You're not broken, your brain simply works differently. ADHD comes with challenges and strengths, creativity, intuition, quick thinking, unique insight. With awareness, compassion, and the right tools, you can work with your wiring, not against it, and thrive on your own terms. Concise recap and key takeaways. Let's quickly recap what we've covered. 1. We defined ADHD, a neurodevelopmental condition involving sustained inattention, impulsivity, or hyperactivity, affecting daily functioning rather than occasional distractibility. 2. We explored how it shows up in Gen Z, cognitive difficulties, impulsive behaviors, emotional and sensory signs, often amplified by high stimulus environments. 3. We looked at risk factors, genetic, brain wiring, environmental and generational context. 4. We broke down the root causes, how brain networks, neurotransmitters, and external demands interact, traffic signals and railway tracks metaphors. 5. We showed how ADHD doesn't stand alone, the connections with anxiety, depression, sleep, identity, and executive function. 6. We described daily life impacts, study, work struggles, relationships, self-image, energy fatigue. 7. We offered lifestyle supports, sleep hygiene, exercise, nutrition, digital environment, social connection, mindfulness, sustainable habits over time. 8. We outlined actionable strategies, task chunking, visual boards, focus blocks, self-compassion reframing, check-ins, environment nudges, transition rituals, weekly review. 9. We summarized do's and don'ts, what helps and what tends to hinder when living with ADHD wiring. 10. We discussed when and how to seek professional help, evaluation, therapy, coaching, medication integration. 11. We explained medication in neutral, factual terms, how it works, what to expect, why supervision matters. Final appeal. If you found this video helpful, please like it, subscribe to the Mental Health channel, and share it with someone who might benefit. We'd love to hear from you. What was your biggest takeaway from today's discussion on ADHD and Gen Z? Share in the comments below and let's build a community of support and understanding. Crucial disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only and does not substitute professional medical or mental health advice. If you believe you or someone you know may be experiencing ADHD or any other mental health condition, please seek evaluation and guidance from a qualified professional. Thank you for being here, for being curious about your mind, and for taking steps toward a more compassionate, empowered way of living.